Good evening and welcome to another scene in Darkens in Dublin. And we have a scene this night which is within the domain of one Emily Stevenson. We're opening our scene at an Emily that is somewhat busy. She's just done her job. She doesn't own the place, but she does do a lot of temp work, a lot of cleaning, a lot of things that any employee in this place does, but she also spends a lot of time training here. And she's done cleaning for tonight, for the next couple of hours. So she's free to do her routine. It's a series of different training exercises. And it's also there are less people just in the middle of the night. There are still some, but she does quite a bit of work with punching bags, kicks, and punches, and different series of blows and stuff.
Would Sam even be allowed to be walking in if he's not a member of the gym, or?
If you were coming for once, like, you either have to have a membership, like a set amount you pay every month, or you have to pay for like entering and using facilities.
Yeah, Sam is interested in a membership, so that is why he is showing up.
All right, give me one moment. And I am going to apologize to Evan and anyone Irish, because I might just do a hilarious Irish accent, which is going to sound absolutely horrendous. I apologize in advance. Let me get this guy up. There we go. As you enter, this guy will be at the receptionist desk. There's also you also see well, actually, you wouldn't see her. You just see this guy, and he's just, good evening. What can I do for you?
Yep. Sam will have awe on.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he seems to be listening intently.
He'll come up and he's like, "Good day, my good man. I hear this is a good gym. I think you are an employee." And then Sam like kind of just looks around and he's very eager, and he's like, "I hear this is a place that I might be able to become a member to use your facility."
You're talking to an employee and the owner. Yeah, we have got the forms, and you'll just say, you know what, just it's just formalities really, but I can swing a bonus your way. I mean, it's actually, business is going fairly well, and he will just give you a little bit spiel of free sign up, essentially. But he seems quite eager to assist you.
Indeed. I'm ex-military. I get the gift. He goes over and he starts looking around and says, I think this is a fairly nice place. He goes over what are the rates and everything, and he looks over at the papers, and you see that Sam, if you're watching him, he's very carefully checking every word on every page, making sure that there's nothing like underhanded or off about the signatures or about the written anything he's signing.
It is essentially you can come and use the facilities from like whenever. Don't break shit. If you break shit, you will pay for shit. And it's fairly bog standard. You'll see a lot of mortal members here. It's fairly standard. It's not even that long. There's no like even a sign of anything smart legally. It's the bare minimum.
Alrighty. Sam will finish signing everything and finish up the membership as soon as he can. And
he will give you a card.
Done.
He'll give you a card. He just says to scan it in. There are some scanning in where you check in, like to see when you come in, and you just say, He will ask you if you have any clothes with you, or he can help you with that as well. Because I mean, he has some clean clothes you can borrow if you didn't bring anything. Like
You actually see that Sam is dressed in a fairly decent tank top, and he has some athletic Adidas sweats on,
oh,
and
okay,
he
well
has a gym bag.
then he won't ask, of course. But this is just the man. He's just talking to you and very welcoming and very glad that you're a part of the gym now. And he seems really happy. And yeah, just for reference, Emily has not looked at you. She is really yeah. She's quite into the training. It seems. I mean,
Sam is going to. Are there bags?
mm-hmm.
Sparring bags and whatnot. Are there facial dummies, like the practice dummies to like punch and practice precision strikes?
There is a room where you have the mats, where it's clearly for. There isn't any course in it, but it's a larger room that looks more like a self-defense class. But it has mats so you can rumble around, and there are like 2 dummies in there. It just seems like there's no one in there at the moment because it seems to be more of a course thing. Like you sign up for like a course with 10, 15 people maybe.
Mm-hmm. Can you use the mats if no one else is using it?
It doesn't say that you can. But
That
you will notice.
It doesn't say that you can or can't.
Can't. You can go in there.
Okay.
It's just your guess would be that it's mostly an instructor and a team that uses them, but you can use them.
Sam is going to take his shoes off and socks off, and he's going to bow onto the mat, and he's going to start practicing what is known as a Shoryu karate kata, and it is called it's a basic kata called taikyoku, and he's going to start doing his warm-ups and start doing the kata, and he's going to start kind of really getting into it. He's eventually going to start doing some ki-eyes and some breathing work, and she might hear that depending upon how good her perception is.
Yeah, at some point.
Because
at some point, Emily will. She'll just be in a set. She will just you'll just have a look. She'll actually approach. Come in. She's not wearing any shoes either. She just comes in and just looking for the moment.
As he finishes up the kata, he lets out a breath that obviously he doesn't have to. Looks over at the door. Ah, Miss Stevenson.
Sorry. Yeah, that's me. Hi. She looks around. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. Did you? Are you new
Not
here?
at all. Yes, actually, I just joined today. A bit of a bit of an on-the-fly spur, if you will. Had a few discussions a couple days ago, and I felt that I should get back into my the physical aspect of my training.
Well,
By the way, I believe we haven't met, Miss Emily. My name is Sam Barragon.
Oh. Hi. She comes over, just puts her hand out.
He shakes it. Good to meet you. I believe I've seen you around. I don't think we've been formally introduced, though. That was another reason I decided to come over tonight. I heard that you were going to be here, and I wanted to introduce myself formally to you, as I should introduce. And he kind of looks around, almost like he's looking for very subtly for cameras or for anyone listening. And he's like, I feel like I should introduce myself to every one of our group here in the city. Smiles a little bit.
Emily just pauses for a moment. You'll hear, crap, and then she just goes over and just closes the door. And it comes back. It's just like, oh, yeah, Hi. Welcome. And yeah, you're okay. Yeah. Good to meet you, Sam. Sam. Um, what what? She looks around for a moment. What clan are you? Just wondering.
Oh, I am one of the sewer dwellers.
Oh. Oh. Okay. Uh. Oh. Okay. Um.
Yes. Cain's gift of 1,000 faces really does come in handy sometimes.
Right.
At least
Yeah.
I look so. At least I look.
I've heard of that. Yeah. Um. Not really something I can do. At least not yet, I
No, but
suppose.
no, but I hear you can turn into a wolf.
Oh, not really, actually. I can do some other things,
Just
but
speculation. Just speculation and rumors at
yeah,
this point, I suppose.
that seems to be a thing that's in the cards, so to say.
Indeed. Well, to be fair, there has been quite a bit happening, especially with the auction that came by.
Don't remind me. She just face palms for a moment, just holds the hand over her eyes for a moment, just rubs.
You know, you know, I will say this: I have seen many horrors of the night. I have seen many things besides our kind that lurk in the night. But what you did that night, whew, you scared the crud out of me. Bravo.
What now?
You scared me.
Oh,
You
I'm
all scared me.
um I don't quite follow.
The accident,
Yeah. Oh, I didn't do
a
anything.
truck.
Oh, fuck.
He's like,
Oh, no, no,
it's a,
no, no.
it's a good thing I got out of the area when I did,
Yeah, it
because I
was
would
a
have been
good.
squashed.
Shit. Well, I suppose Hennessy would have. Yeah,
Oh, I assure you, there were no
can you tell
masquerade.
him that I'm actually really sorry and I'm going to make it up to him somehow?
I will most certainly do my best to tell him that you are absolutely sorry. Unfortunately, I don't think he will care.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. Mm.
Yes, when something is done, it's somewhat done when it comes to Hennessy. But I'll do my best.
Oh, don't worry, I'll
And
make
I'm
it up
sure
to
he
him.
understands. I'm sure he understands, mostly. You see Sam kind of like get that kind of look of, I'm sure he understands mostly. But yeah, it was just a little spooky. I mean, I go out to sit down and take a break and try and deal with all the stress that happened on that particular day of the auction, and then all of a sudden I get a car thrown, you know, somewhat very close to my vicinity, and then a car disappears, and then a truck hits it, and there were a lot of crazy things happening that night.
Yeah,
And I just stepped out for a small break.
don't.
That was it. I went home after that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, trust me, I was about as surprised as you were. It's not really something I planned on happening.
No, indeed. But I gotta ask if you're allowed to say what exactly happened.
I got a thing at the auction, and I fucked around with it.
Yeah,
And
the watch.
yeah, we went somewhere else and then returned. Still
Right.
quite freaky. I've hidden the thing, but I'm gonna have to explore with it. But yeah, I'm getting the sense that this is a lot more dangerous and a lot more than I bargained for. But I don't know.
Oh, you have no idea. And then you see the moment Sam says that, he says, "You have no idea," and then he says, "That thing could lead you to." And the moment he says "to," he stops and he shakes his head, like kind of just. He's like, "No, no, 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 no," and then he looks back up at you. Never mind. Um.
Yeah,
Anyway, Mr.
that's not
Stevenson.
ominous or a dick move.
Yeah. He's like, no, don't say that. Keep people safe. Keep secrets. You know, he's thinking that
Oh,
in his head, but he doesn't say that out
oh,
loud.
right. And that's okay.
Um,
I got it. I got it. Okay, yeah. Sorry about that.
and he's like, he he kind of shakes his head a little bit after he says that, like he's trying to like restrain himself from saying something, and then he slowly opens his eyes and he says, "Anyway, Miss Stevenson, I hear this is a very nice place you have, and like I said, I kind of wanted to get back to my. I'm actually ex-military. I wanted to get back to my roots and get back into a
Well,
much more physical aspect of
the obvious,
my past.
the obvious question when you say ex-military with our kind, that can be well quite a large assortment of stuff.
Private, well, the German version of Private First Class in World War II.
Wow,
Yeah,
wow.
those were
Oh,
the days.
or not, but well, I suppose if you were, I mean, it depends. Where I'm guessing, like private first class, then you were in the armed forces, right? The Wehrmacht, not not the
Yes.
assholes, right? Oh, okay.
Oh
I'm
yes,
not.
I
I don't
was.
mean it like that. Like there's a big difference if you were SS or Wehrmacht. But,
I was standard infantry. I was not one of the SS.
well, that's don't. I hope you don't take it the wrong way, but I'm glad, honestly.
I understand what you mean. Believe me. Believe me. I fully understand what you
Yeah,
mean
I
by
think you
that.
know better than anyone, honestly. But I mean, being close to it.
Oh, if he gets this big smug look on his face, and he's like, "If only you knew how much I knew." Um, it was not a pleasant time in my life. Let's put it that way. But I feel that I need to get back to what made my life good and not what tore it apart. And getting back to my martial prowess is something that I think would help out a lot.
So you you practiced
I,
martial arts in the 40s?
he nods. There were a limited value of things you could learn in certain aspects. However, there was a developmental combat called CQC. It was developed primarily by the Russian Spetsnaz, actually, but beforehand, it started way back, and it was actually in Russia for quite some time before it became a common form of military training and art, which was then later adapted into the much more modernized and much more broad spectrum of Spetsnaz knife fighting, which actually developed into its own style. And I was lucky enough to find someone to teach me a bit of that. Unfortunately, my martial prowess isn't that amazing, but I want to get better, so I've come in and started to practice more.
Oh, that's great. I mean, I've always enjoyed training, pretty much in every, well, most ways. It tends to,
Do you do you practice the art?
well, kind of. I used to,
I
well,
got into
I do sort of.
I did get into a little bit of a Shotokan myself, and I quite like it. Um, but it's a mixed martial arts. Do mixed martial arts as well here at this gym? I saw the sign out front.
Yeah, I do hold a couple of classes here and there. I can't really. Well, I kind of. Well, it's. I do it under an alias. It's kind of. It's a. It's complicated. I officially died a couple of years ago, but I still use my own name. So, and
Hey,
I
don't feel
used to do
bad.
it. Well, I used to do it professionally. So I did actually. Well, until all this shit happened, I was actually fairly good, you know, in the mortal scene.
Hmm.
I mean, but well, I mean, I won quite some matches actually, but then I was at a
Hey,
tournament
don't.
here, and well, yeah.
Huh, you remind me of someone I met in Chicago. Cassius Belmont, name ringing any bells?
Uh, is that relation to our Belmont?
I don't think so, but he was a mixed martial arts fighter that I became somewhat friends with in Chicago, and he had a very similar lifestyle from what it sounds like you gave me. And actually, one of his very last fights, he was involved in a mob shooting that happened at one of his friends' local restaurants, and then of course he was embraced, and his life changed after that. But he was a friend of mine, and it just reminded me of him. But I don't think he has relation to our Belmont, unless our Belmont has a lot of connections in Chicago under Maxwell, which if he does, by all means, it could be. Interestingly enough, I didn't think I'd be coming in here to Dublin. I thought I'd be just fine and settling in Chicago, but then I heard about some of the propositions and things that were happening here in Dublin, so I figured I would come and give my aid to my fellow kindred. But lo and behold, the moment I get here, everything starts to hit the fan, and I feel almost completely worthless right now.
No, don't say that. No, you're not worthless.
Even with all my contacts and resources, I have been able to do almost nothing to help this current problem that we have here in the city.
Well,
Not to
you're
mention
not.
one of the greatest contacts we had here as well is now dust in the wind and gone. And his club was used as the auction.
Well, I mean, if it's any consolation, you're not the only one who hasn't been able to do much. I mean,
Indeed. That's why I think it's important that we stay united and not worry about these mistakes that some of our kin have made. I'm sure you know
oh,
I'm referring
by
to.
the way, do you know? I've heard a word be caught around. Apparently, it's something that someone does. Scourge.
Oh yeah, that we had a one that happened in Chicago when I was under Maxwell's reign. Except that was directed towards our enemies, the Sabbat, at that time, so I didn't really understand it, but supposedly it's some kind of a purge against a certain target or targets, I think. And Sam kind of looks, he's like I said, it's the only one that I have witnessed and participated in was one of the Sabbat, so it felt like every other day to me at that point, but
Right. I just heard it's a position of something like sheriff or something, but okay, fair enough.
huh, that's interesting. Sam kind of looks like he's pondering a bit, and he's like, well, then I clearly have no idea.
Well, I mean, maybe it's something that only like I just heard some talk about it, but maybe it's something that only is in dire times. I don't know. I was just wondering. Maybe you knew something, but no, it's fine. It's really fine. So she looks at you. So do you want to? I mean, I've got some time. Like, do you want to go a few rounds?
Sure. I'm probably going to get my ass kicked, but there is no shame in losing to a superior fighter.
Oh no.
And he takes a he gets on the other side of the mat, and he takes a if you've ever seen do you do martial arts out of life
Little.
or in real life? He gets into a horse stance actually, but it's lighter. It's almost like a kokusadach.
Mm-hmm.
And he takes if you ever play Metal Gear Solid, he basically takes Solid Snake stance, and
Okay.
he goes into a very defensive standardized CQC stance.
Hmm.
And I guess we'll do a little bit of rolling here. What is your combat dice?
I guess that we're using strength for all, right?
I believe so.
Well, that is 7 for me.
Okay, I'm not too bad. I got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 or 6. Yeah, 5.
Hmm.
Not too bad.
No, that's pretty good.
I guess we want to go ahead and do just like 2 roll-offs or whatnot.
Sure.
All right.
Do just one thing. Just what is, because I guess potence would count. In your Nosferatus, you would have something like that as well.
I do not actually have potence. I have no
Wow.
potence.
Okay, that's fair. But
Yeah, no, I have presence, obfuscate, animalism, celerity, and see, presence, obfuscate, animalism, celerity. Yep, that's it.
all right. Okay. I will add my potence because it's strength roll, and she's not going to spend blood. She's just going to. So that is.
Yep. Now, celerity does add to dex, but does it let you? This is. I rarely play 20th. I haven't played too much 20th edition. Does it let you take multiple actions in close quarters as well?
Yeah, but then you would have to spend blood.
Mm. And potence, you don't have
I
to
only
spend
have
blood?
one success because I have 4 1s on that roll. Wow.
It's okay. You
Okay,
got one success. I got 0.
okay, they're both horrible, but
So we're both being sloppy as hell.
yeah,
It's like
yeah. But I mean, for Emily's part, I don't know if she's hesitating, but she's just met this very nice person, and she's not gonna hurt him. But yeah, they will go a little bit, and she'll, like, you will notice. Well, you haven't met her really, but she seems to be quite. I hate to say, analytical. Like,
mm-hmm.
quite in. Oh, like that was a good move, or um, you should watch out for this, or it seems to come very natural to her, and you can really see that she is very relaxed and very much into this. Like, she seems to
Yep.
be enjoying this.
Sam is also very relaxed, very into it, very enjoying it. He appreciates the instruction. He's actually looking very invigorated. He will he'll go for a second round, except this time he'll go defensively, and he'll kind of wait for her to come in more than him going into a
All right.
strike.
Yeah.
One more roll off?
Yeah, sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, I mean, Emily's
Yeah, I
gonna
slaughtered him that one.
Well, yeah, she's gonna attempt to grapple him. Nothing like hefty, but she is gonna just get him down. Again, it's like the tap thing. Like, when the grapple is there, um, there's a tap, and as soon as the tap is there, she stops. It's like, and she, like,
Mm-hmm.
you could tell, like, hitting and punching is one thing, but grappling, that seems to be something that she knows what she's doing. She seems to be able to get out of grabs quite effectively. Would be your guess.
After the second exchange is over, Sam kind of looks and he just nods. He's like, "That's really good."
Thanks. She smiles. She just has a genuine smile on her face. She just says, "Yeah, well, I mean, what is it they say? The 10,000-hour rule. If you've done something for long enough, I mean, you get really good at it."
To truly become a master at something, you must at least reach the 10-year limit.
Well, I guess I'll reach the God only knows how long now, but
Well, with our time that we have, you can become quite good at something. Almost unbelievably so.
yeah, there is, yeah.
When did you start, if you don't mind me asking, before this whole thing happened? When did you start?
Early.
Hmm.
I
And you've noticed that this you've noticed at this point that Sam is kind of he's looking at his right wrist and he's gripping it almost like he's remembering something.
Um, like just quickly, like she has a blush of health. She's actually fairly tall. She's
Mm-hmm.
like 185, like the normal height of a man, generally.
Mm-hmm.
She is a
Yeah,
bit.
Sam's about 6'2".
Yes, she is quite big. Well, tall, but she's also like it's clear that she's been training also before
Mm-hmm.
her embrace probably, but um, she just becomes a bit more quiet as you begin to ask about that. Um, she stands there for a couple of seconds, almost hesitating, and she just says, "I it helped me a lot, and it felt well natural at a certain point. So I really liked it, and I continued. Yeah, and I became so good at it that I got professional. So
I understand. Part of the reason I came here was to get quite a bit better. Back when I had my first training, I was not the best. My skill always lied within the gun rather than the martial, but I hope to rectify that fairly soon. I actually, among my squad, I was actually the best marksman out of our entire squad. I
wow,
placed top of my class. I actually beat every single person that came up against me. Uh, I even got to enter into the German country finals. And
wow, okay. Um,
yeah, and then lo and
well,
behold, the war happened.
well, yeah, but I mean, I hope you don't mind me not accepting a rematch in shooting because I probably will not be able to hit a barn. So
No worries. If you ever do want to learn, let me know, and I can teach you, just as you've helped me out tonight.
yeah, I don't. Well, maybe I've. It's just I don't know. It's never. I don't know. It's just never had the same. Maybe it's just the training aspect, the the time alone, and the gathering your thoughts. I don't know. It's
It's a different. It truly is a different aspect. It's a different set of games, if you will.
yeah. Well, I mean, I've heard a lot of people who do archery, for instance, but probably also shooting. You know, like it's the same thing. Like you have to do certain things, but yeah,
It
I
does
mean,
require. It also requires a lot of focus. Something that a lot of people think is easy, but it is in no way, in fact, easy.
yeah.
Sometimes
Tell me about it.
becoming, indeed, I know all about that. Out of curiosity, Emily, I need to ask, and he kind of sits down. He says, if you don't mind me asking, um, besides the obvious right now, what is our biggest problem in Dublin?
She like her eyes doesn't go don't go wide, but she just gets a bit more standoffish, and she sits down. Um, but she just sits down and she just goes, well, I mean, I'm guessing you're talking Red Lister, right? That's the big thing. Other than
He
that, well,
nods.
I mean, Spot and I don't know, like the Anarchs are really like I I was embraced and then I spent my time with them, but like currently I've just been accepted by the Camarilla because honestly because I mean most of the people I've met are I mean I don't know they just feel right. I don't know. It's hard to describe. I just
It doesn't matter. I've met both Anarchs and Camerlin, and a lot of times I really don't see much of a difference sometimes.
yeah
Um,
that's actually kind of she hesitates.
yeah, it's just what I've noticed, really.
Right.
In the end, we're all kin. I mean, we all act according,
Right.
and honestly, from what I've seen, from when I was embraced, it's almost no different talking with kin than it was talking with other humans. You're with a group of humans, and there's going to be those that agree
Well,
with you, those that disagree with you, and those
except
that are indifferent to you.
except one of the big problems, the Sabbat.
Yeah.
If you talk with them, it's not anywhere near the same.
No, agreed.
I would say that's our biggest
It's
problem,
about
honestly.
how long have you been in Dublin?
Oh, I don't know. A little over a year, and
And have
that is a lie. I will
oh,
just
okay.
see
So
how many dice she has to it, because she has absolutely shit dice to this.
and what do I need to roll to serve a perception? Is that
Perception, empathy, I think.
okay? I don't
Manipulation.
have that
Yeah,
many dice.
I have 3 dice. So I am fucking like rolling 3 dice here. Yeah, she fails. Like
I got one hit. Yeah.
yeah, like the way she drags it, you almost get the sense that she was thinking of one thing and then saying something else. And while
In
she
other
was
words,
saying it,
I can
she's just kind of changes it, and it comes across it comes across in a way that you pick up on that.
oh shit! I forgot to add dice to that. Oh well.
Oh, you got it anyway.
Yes, yeah. So Sam's gonna kind of raise an eyebrow to the ceiling, and he's just gonna look at her, and he's
Uh,
gonna kind of do like this. He's gonna do the little wheel motion with his hand, like "Go on." Are you sure? Kind of just looking at
I
her
have
like,
been here for a little over a year. Yeah, that's what I said. Um, yeah, it's. I mean, it's been. I mean, horrible, but you know, it's.
And were the Sabbat always as they are this present day?
Uh, what do you mean, like in the city and the outskirts, or just?
Well, I'll tell you something. As a matter of fact, I'll let you in on just a little secret. As you know, I am fairly new to Dublin. My primary work I did was in Chicago under Prince Maxwell. And the only areas of the United States that I was actually able to see were Los Angeles and Chicago, at least that I stayed in for a while. And those were the only princes or territories that I had to make myself known and do the whole spiel. You get the idea. Talk to Croy, talk to Maxwell. But in every instance that I saw the Sabbat or was conflicted with the Sabbat, they did not have very good resources. They were not well organized. They were dysfunctional. They were all over the place. They were rebels. And I mean no offense to the anarchs when I say that, but when I say rebels, I mean they were kind of out of sync with things. The Sabbat here are way, way, way too organized. I have not seen this before. I have not seen Sabbat this careful. I have not seen Sabbat this hard to find. And I've seen a lot of Sabbat, and we've had a lot of incursions. We had a lot of incursions in Chicago, and especially in LA. Don't even get me started on what's going on in the West. But this is kind of spooky because I haven't seen this before. From what I hear, this isn't very common amongst the Sabbat. So
Well, I
what I'm
don't.
thinking is, go on.
I I don't know too much about what, like, compared to what they were or have been or is other places. I mean, as you know, like I'm not that old.
Mm-hmm. Do you know anything about Gravedigger's disappearance?
Gravediggers just no. Who is that?
Hmm. He kind of looks around a bit. He's like, well, was someone who could get information on anything you wanted, period, for the right price. And now he's gone. And I'm a little bit worried because several people are just upping and going. Speaking of which, another thing I wanted to ask you, that whole incident with the portal, what I've heard a little bit about what happened. Were you there for that incident?
Hmm. I hate to say it like this,
When
but
the gang when the gangrel primogen died.
no, I wasn't.
Let's see.
I I mean, I knew something went wrong, but I'd just come out of accounting myself under him, so I kind of
Hmm.
I kind of messed up my presentation. So the prince put me under accounting, and then I made it, and then well, not too long after, well, actually, very very short time after, I well, he was killed.
You can see Sam kind of almost visibly kind of like his face goes a little bit solemn for a bit when he hears that, and he's like, "Well, shoot." Terrific. Now we've got paintings that sprout portals. We've got dead primogens and enemies that are clearly superior to us in hiding. Oh, when the shit hits the van, it's really gonna hit.
Well, maybe it's a slow-mo hit. Maybe it's a hit that's already just comes in small dosages.
Let's hope so. Anyway, how is the once again, this is information that I do know, but I wanted to hear it. I like hearing information from multiple sources and from multiple people. Multiple perspectives can give you, ironically, more perspective on things. What's the relationship like here between the clans? Is there any hatred between certain clans? I know that my clan just really, and he kind of opens his eyes wide there and then goes back to a Solomon. And he's like, really does not like the Ventru or the Torador, it seems.
Yeah. Again, like I just try to keep my head down, honestly.
It's a good way to survive. It's smart. I don't blame you. Unfortunately, it's my business to know what the hell is going on. So unfortunately, a lot of times I can't keep my head down. But yeah, I
Yeah,
know what you mean.
right. Like, I mean, I seem to, well, I seem to just, I mean, I don't think if I have not heard of anyone like particularly loathing anyone. Although I will say that there is this guy that there are like people I really don't like because they're, well, who they are, but that's just people. Between the clans, I can't say that there is, I know of anything like. But then again, I'm kind of the only gangrel, so I kind of just, I don't know, be me, and then, well, fuck. I suppose if, and she just goes silent for a moment, just looks around. Oh shit. I suppose if there is an one or more gangrel show up, we're going to have to find a primogen. And then with my luck...
You're worried it'll be you?
Well, I have the one who's lived here. Oh, shit. Oh, here's to hoping. She just puts out a hand and crosses her fingers. Or crosses her finger. Here's to hoping it's a gangrel elder who moves in.
Sam is visibly hurt on his face. Miss Stevenson, I don't know how to put this. I don't want to ruin on your parade, but I have an associate coming in to aid me in certain aspects. He's a good friend of mine. He's been working with me for a while.
And he's
of Clan Gangrel.
Ah, okay.
Yes, he is.
There we go. Well, maybe you can inform him that it would be really good for him to become primogen?
I'm not entirely sure what he... Actually, there's two coming in. What he or she would say, what either of them would say.
Oh, fuck.
I imagine she might. She might.
That's good.
Now that I think about it, she might. I don't know. Like I said, it's still a little bit uncertain if they're going to even show up or not. After all, we are very busy. But it is a possibility, and I will ask them. I will certainly do my best to keep that much workload off you, because I can see that that's not something you would want. I mean, I wouldn't want to be the Nosferatu primogen either if the doctor or Mr. Hennessy were to somehow just disappear or die. It's not a position that I would want focused on. I don't like the spotlight on me unless I absolutely have to have it.
Well,
It's how our kind survives.
Yeah, but there is more to it than that. There is the fact that spotlight, but it's also the fact that I know what I'm good at and I know what I'm absolutely terrible at. And politics,
indeed,
and talking in long meetings. Yeah, I suck. I suck at that. So, yeah. You never enjoy doing something you really blow at doing.
Agreed. It is unwise. You notice that he's kind of looking down at his arm, and he's partially dropped the Mask of 1,000 Faces on his arm, and you can see that up along his wrist, all the way to the shoulder, has a lot of scars. They look like knife wounds or cut wounds.
Oh, wow. Okay, you fell in combat, or?
It's a bit hard to talk about, but.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm I put my.
It's okay. It's okay.
No. It's.
I do need to get it off my chest. I've talked with a few others, but if you're going to be a fellow associate and someone that I may work with, you should know a little bit about me. You were willing to tell me a bit about yourself. I should be able to tell you a little bit about me. So, I was in the army when the war happened. Left my wife and child to go off to service, as many of us did. My official death is on June 6th, 1944. My real death was June 1st, 1944. I came upon a little village up in the mountains that we were patrolling, watching for any Allied incursions or Russian invasion. And it's night. We were having a good time. And I heard a commotion outside. I didn't like to drink as much as my fellow comrades, especially when we were in war, but Well, so I decided to head outside, grabbed my rifle, and see what the commotion was. Saw a woman in an alleyway screaming. There was a man standing over her. There was blood everywhere. I told the man to halt, stop, step away from the woman. He refused. I fired. I might as well have been throwing milk duds at him.
Oh,
Next thing I knew, he charged me and felt a lot of pain. And that was my last day. The life that happened afterwards was an interesting one. There's information that I can't disclose to you for two reasons. One, because certain people have asked me not to, and two, because I made a promise to certain people to not disclose certain information. But let's just say that the life that that one brought me into was pretty horrible. And he was not a compassionate or good sire at all. And then he looks back at his arm with all the scars and he says, as you can see by some of his handiwork, this was what he did to me before he turned me. He said it was so I would always know and never be able to hide that I was his. So I went through that life, learned a lot of things about our kind, until finally one day I had had enough. So I left and I got away. I thought I ran far enough. I took my wife, took my child. I knew the rules. I said, F it. I can make this work. We'll go to the mountains, no one will find us. I was wrong. I was very wrong. That mistake cost me my wife and child. And it was because of him that I lost them. So, I pushed him off a cliff, walked down to his broken body, and by the time I was done beating whatever this thing, I'm not going to call him a man, he was a thing, whatever he called himself, or whatever it called itself, when I was done, I couldn't tell what it was I was hitting anymore. And all I could think about was I wanted to cause him more pain.
well, she looks genuinely sad. She just says, for what it's worth, you tried to do the right thing more than once, and he deserved it.
Mm-hmm.
From what you're telling, you did the right thing, honestly.
There were a lot of people that hurt me. And one of them I met just recently. And I had no hatred towards them. Is it strange how we change that much? How we can feel so much hatred for someone and then it just goes.
Well, one of my first teachers, she points around to the room with all of this. He had a saying like, if you hold a grudge during a match, if you hate someone during a match, they will actually have an advantage on you. If they know you, or if they can see it, they know that you hate them and you'll do more to hurt them. But in order to become better, you must forgo of all your, well, feelings and only focus on what's going on. Only focus on you doing the right thing at the right time. And that's one way to look at it,
Anger.
I suppose.
Anger clouds the mind.
Yeah, but he also said that we can. He was actually a great guy. He also said something else. He was my kung fu teacher. He was actually pretty awesome all around, come to think of it. But he also said that you can try to get revenge as much as you want, but the only thing you can truly change is your feeling. And he actually was a lot into meditation, and actually learned a couple of things from him. Like, while you can hate someone and try to punish them, the real salvation, the real way to come it is to come face with your emotions. And, well, once you do that, well, you can let them go. And I don't know. It's easier for some, and I suppose it's easier with some emotions in regards to others. You'll notice that she says that she's clearly thinking of something herself.
Mm. After that, I went to Chicago, stayed there for a while, and was a bit of a broken man at that point. I think, what was it? Yes, I actually spray painted a dumpster, covered it in cardboard, and that was my lair for a while. And then I found people who helped me out, got me going, and here I am today. I learned things from those two that I didn't think was possible. And then I started doing business in the city, and eventually became, well, what I am right now. But there's one thing that always bugged me. Have you noticed that in all the years that our kind has been doing what they're doing, no one ever really tries for unification anymore? There's so much squabbling and infighting and war. It's like our wars just never stop. For some reason, that bugged me a lot. Maybe it was because I witnessed, it firsthand. But,
well, I mean, one could, of course, say that that's due to us being, well, kindred. But honestly, is that much different from, I don't know, humans?
I suppose not. We just certainly seem a lot more passionate about it. Or I'm sorry, I should say less passionate about it.
I don't know, but I mean, it's not like the human race has coalesced in one government, and everyone is happy.
You see Sam almost like do a weird shift, like his face goes from very solemn to very confused, and then he blinks for a bit, and then he looks over and he says, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to ramble on. That was probably a lot more than I should have said or went off about.
No. It's
I just
like,
needed to get it off.
No, it's fine. I mean, it's totally fine. Like, it's not a problem at all, really.
He kind of sighs for a bit, once again with a breath that he doesn't even have to take, and he says, "So what's your ambition for Dublin here. What are your goals? What do you hope to accomplish here? My goals are merely to help out my fellow kindred in the best way I can, maybe eliminate some Sabbat, and try and make our unlives a little bit easier. What's your ambition and goals, if you don't mind me asking, or if you're even allowed to say?
I should say that Emily just looks at you and just kind of just seems surprised more than anything. She just looks around. I actually haven't got the slightest idea.
You're like me 50 years ago.
Um, I've maybe. I look. Well, I'm still very young, and I'm still trying to find my feet. I,
Still trying to process it all.
there is still a lot of shit that there's still a lot of stuff that yeah.
It's understandable. Well, I guess I should get to the two major cruxes as to why I came here tonight. One, I really wanted to become a member of the gym. Like I said, I've already gone through all that. I don't need to tell you all my reasons for
Oh,
coming back to the martial prowess, etc. And the
right.
second reason was I'm trying to make associates. And if you need anything, such as information, some supplies, I'm your guy.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks. Yeah,
He gives her a business card.
oh, fancy. Right. I'll keep that in mind. Sure.
He nods, picks up his bag, and he looks over at Emily and he says, "Thank you for the lessons. I'll
Oh,
definitely be back for more."
oh, sure. I'll just like I might not always be around because there's stuff I need to. But sure. I'll be here. I mean, I will be here, but it's not guaranteed. But I'll let you be anyway now. Sorry for rambling.
He nods, and he bows, and
And
he
she
exits
bows.
into the night.
And Emily will just take a few moments. She seems to, for if anyone could see her, she just seems content. This is definitely one of the better meetings she's had in a while, it seems. And soon she will be back to her routine. Thank you very much, players, for playing and watchers for watching. Good night.